The 10th of February, 1258, the Tigris River runs black. Not with oil, not with mud, with ink. The Mongols have just thrown so many books into the river that the water turned black for 6 months. Manuscripts, medical texts, scientific treatises, mathematical proofs, poetry, history, all of it floating downstream, dissolving into nothing. 7 days earlier, Baghdad was the richest city on earth. 1 million people, libraries in every neighborhood, hospitals with free healthcare, streets paved with sophistication Europe wouldn't see for 400 years. 7 days later, 90% of the population is dead. The greatest city in human history is gone. This is the story of how it rose and how it fell. 762 CE. Caliph al-Mansur stands at the intersection of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers and says, "This is where we build the capital." Not a random choice. Baghdad sat at the crossroads of the world. Silk Road caravans from China passed through. Trade ships from India docked at its ports. African gold flowed north. European merchants came south. If you wanted to trade between East and West, you went through Baghdad, and the Abbasid Caliphate taxed every transaction. Within 50 years, Baghdad had 1 million residents, the largest city in the world, bigger than Constantinople, bigger than Rome at its peak. The caliph's treasury overflowed with gold. But the Abbasids didn't just tax trade, they invested in knowledge. In 830 CE, Caliph al-Mamun founded the House of Wisdom Beit al-Hikmah. This wasn't just a library, it was a research institution, a translation factory, a university before universities existed. The Caliph sent scholars across the world with one mission: find every book ever written. Greek philosophy, Persian medicine, Indian mathematics, Sanskrit astronomy. Bring it all to Baghdad, translate it into Arabic, then improve it. Within 100 years, Baghdad had the largest collection of human knowledge on earth. Scholars traveled thousands of miles just to study there. Al-Khwarizmi invented algebra here. Al-Razi pioneered surgery. Ibn al-Haytham discovered the scientific method. While Europe was in the Dark Ages, Baghdad was building the future. By the 10th century, Baghdad wasn't just rich, it was untouchable. Streets paved with bricks, running water systems in homes, public hospitals offering free treatment to anyone. Muslim, Christian, Jewish, didn't matter. Paper mills producing books faster than anywhere else on earth. Bookstores lining entire streets. Public libraries where you could borrow books for free. Markets selling goods from 3 continents. Spices from Indonesia. Silk from China. Glassware from Syria. Gold from Africa. The Caliph's palace had 38,000 curtains. Gardens with mechanical trees where golden birds sang. A room called the House of the Tree, with a silver and gold tree moved on its own. This was wealth beyond imagination. And everyone knew, if you wanted to be part of the future, you came to Baghdad. 1257 Hulagu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, stands at the edge of the Abbasid Empire with 150,000 Mongol warriors. He sends a message to Caliph al-Mustasim: surrender, dismantle your defenses, submit to Mongol rule. The Caliph refuses. Huge mistake. The Mongols don't negotiate. They don't take prisoners for ransom. They don't leave cities standing. They erase. The 29th of January 1258, the Mongol siege begins. Baghdad's walls, 40 feet thick, reinforced for 500 years, start to crack under bombardment from Chinese siege engineers. The Abbasid army fights back, but they're outnumbered 5-1, and they've never faced an enemy like this. The 5th of February, 1258. The walls break. Mongol forces pour into the city. What happens next is one of the most brutal weeks in human history. Day 1 to 3. The Mongols go street by street, building by building. Soldiers are killed. Civilians are killed. No one is spared. Day 4. They reach the House of Wisdom. Scholars beg them to spare the books. The Mongols throw them into the Tigris River. Thousands of manuscripts, medical encyclopedias that took decades to write, mathematical proofs that would take centuries to rediscover. Gone. The river runs black with ink. Horses can walk across it on the backs of floating books. Day 5 to 6. The Grand Library is burned. The hospitals are destroyed. The palaces are looted, then demolished. Day 7. The 10th of February, 1258. Caliph al-Mustasim, the man who ruled the richest empire on earth, is executed. The Mongols wrap him in a carpet and trample him to death with horses. An intentional humiliation, killed without shedding royal blood. By the end of the week, 90% of Baghdad's 1 million residents are dead. The city that took 500 years to build was destroyed in 7 days. Historians estimate that the destruction of Baghdad set human progress back 200 to 500 years. Medical knowledge? Gone. Europe wouldn't have advanced surgery for another 400 years. Mathematical innovations? Lost. Some were rediscovered in the Renaissance, some never were. Astronomical calculations? Destroyed. Star charts that had been refined for centuries erased. Engineering treatises? Burned. Knowledge of water systems, architecture, mechanical devices? Vanished. We don't even know what we lost, because the books that described other books were also destroyed. Imagine if someone burned down every university on Earth, every library, every research lab, every hospital. That's what happened to Baghdad. Baghdad never fully recovered. The city exists today, but it's not the same. It never regained its status as the intellectual capital of the world. The Islamic Golden Age, which had lasted 450 years, ended in that week. Knowledge centers shifted: Cairo, Damascus, Cordoba in Spain, but none matched Baghdad's peak. Some scholars escaped. Some books survived in other cities. The knowledge didn't disappear completely. But the momentum, the concentration of genius in one place, the interconnected network of scholars pushing human understanding forward, that died in February 1258. So why does this story matter? Because Baghdad proved something. Knowledge is fragile. It took 500 years to build the richest, most advanced city in human history. It took 7 days to destroy it. Every innovation, every discovery, every book that preserved human thought, it only exists because someone chose to protect it. The Mongols chose destruction, and we're still living with the consequences 766 years later. Every time you see a gap in medieval history, every time you read, "This knowledge was lost and later rediscovered," every time you wonder why the Renaissance happened so late, the answer is often Baghdad. February 1258, 7 days that changed everything. The richest city on earth, gone in a week. That's the lesson of Baghdad. If you want to know what was in those libraries, what knowledge we lost forever, I'm covering the House of Wisdom in the next video. Subscribe to Vestiges of Islam so you don't miss it. The story of human knowledge is also the story of how close we came to losing it all. See you in the next one.